Hello and welcome back to THM. Now today I've got a very special video for you. This one is going to cause a little bit of aggro in the comments because it's an opinion based top 5. And today we're going to look at the top 5 foreign BTCC drivers. First up we have a criminally underrated driver. That because he was only here for one season, but he came, he saw, he conquered. Laurent Aiello. This guy has won DTM, the British Touring Car Championship, Le Mans, STW, French Super Touring and French Formula 3, and had a win rate in the British Touring Cars of 38.5%. Now, to put it in perspective why this guy is so good, he came over for one season only, adapted to the car, won with 10 race wins, which is still to this day the second most wins in a full season. He is amazing. And like I say, criminally underrated because he only done one season in the touring cars. Fourth place, we have everyone's favourite Swede, Rickard Rydell, who drove some of the most amazing and iconic super touring cars ever. Now, Rickard drove for Volvo for 6 of his 7 seasons, driving for Ford in the 7th. He came into the British touring cars in the now legendary Volvo estate, and then he won his title in 1998 with the Volvo. Now, interesting facts about Rickard. From the 7 seasons that he done in British Touring Car Championship, he only finished outside the top 3 in the standings on 2 occasions, being his first season and then 4 seasons in when he came 4th overall. Other than that, he's come 3rd 4 times in the championship and obviously, like I mentioned, won in 1998. Next up, we have a driver that won 36 races in the BTCC, starting out in 1998 and driving all the way through to 2005, that being Ivan Muller. Now, Muller started out doing one season in the Audi A4 before moving to Vauxhall, and my goodness, after the first 2 seasons was he excellent. So, in the last 5 years of his BTCC career, he finished in the top 2 in the championship every single year. In 2001, in 2002, in 2003, in 2004 and 2005. He was either 1st or 2nd in the title, although only winning one in 2003. Next up, we have arguably one of the best touring car drivers of all time, with 36 BTCC wins to his name, that being Alain Menu. And it was such a difficult decision whether to put him in 1st or 2nd because he was spectacular. His career lasted from 1992 and his last season was in 2015, albeit with a couple of years out in between. He started off in a BMW in 1992 and then moved to Renault. Now, this is where in the Super Touring with Renault he was excellent. When Renault introduced the Laguna in 1994, he came 2nd, 2nd, 2nd and then 1st in the championship, which is just outstanding. And this is a Super Touring days. These are where there were international, paid, professional, world-class drivers. After the Laguna, he moved to Team Ford and drove the Mondeo. The first season wasn't too great, but the second season in 2000, the last of Super Touring, he dominated and won the title for a second time. He was that good that 7 years later, VX Racing asked him to come back for the last meeting of the season to try and help out our next inclusion. Which means my number 1 pick for the best foreign BTCC driver of all time, Fabrizio Giovannadi. Now, Fabrizio graced the championship first in 2006, driving a Vauxhall Astra, which wasn't necessarily the best car on the grid. They then switched to the Vectra, which Fabrizio then won the next 2 titles on the bounce. After that, he had a few more seasons in the Vectra before taking a 4-year break and coming back in the Ford Focus. Now, Fabrizio, when you look at him on paper in terms of win rate, the amount of wins, the amount of championships, so on and so forth, isn't necessarily the most spectacular. However, if you saw him drive, you knew how good he was. In all honesty, if it was prime Menu versus prime Giovannadi, I think Gio would just take it in a race, which is why I chose Gio for first. I couldn't split it between the two. They're both excellent drivers in their own rights. So I thought, who would win? Prime Gio, prime Menu in a race. That's why Gio's in first. So that has been a quick 5-minute rundown of my top 5 foreign BTCC drivers of all times. Now, I think this is going to be a little bit of a controversial video, so please leave in the comments below, what drivers have I missed out? Should I have got Gabriele Tarquini in? Should I have got Frank Bieler in? Should I have got Joe Winkelhock in? Let me know who you think I should have put in the top 5. And I know a lot of you are going to disagree with Giovannadi as number 1, so let me know in the comments who you would have as your number 1 driver. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.